All right, we're back for episode 39 of the Idiot Circle. I'm Mike.
I'm Fred.
I'm Rob.
And Rob, you had to rush to get get on the computer.
Yeah, Fred didn't hear this, but full disclosure, Fred, I had a massage over at Massage Envy after work, and then after that, I took my cigar, went to the beach. I even took a picture to send you guys sunset with my cigar. I looked at the time, and I'm like, oh, fuck. We're doing the show tonight.
All right.
Do they have a red light outside of Massage Envy, or do they
wish, man.
Do they do the happy endings, or?
I was just wondering if you got the Deshaun Watson special. Or did you because of your age you went with the Robert Kraft?
Well, listen. I would rather do the Robert Kraft because that's just a that's a civil lawsuit. I try to stay away from the federal indictments. That's what I'm really looking to get.
Well, I think the Robert Kraft, at least he was paying them. I mean, like it was a known thing, right?
It was a mutual transaction.
Yeah, it was a mutual transaction.
The problem is when you were done, your eyes went like this, like cross-eyed Bernstein.
How the hell do you do that? You can do your eyes separately. Look at that.
What are you, a chameleon?
What the fuck? That's creepy.
That is creepy.
But also kind of cool. Kind of cool.
That's kind of creepy, but it's kind of cool.
You do some weird shit, but that's like the weirdest I've seen.
Yeah,
that's like the weirdest.
Oh boy.
The grossest thing about Fred, and this is knowing
the gross what?
Whoa, this is gonna be good. I like it.
And the poor guy, he has no control of this. He's lived with it his whole life, but he's got on the palm of his hand that big.
Show him, Fred.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably people out there don't have it.
Yeah.
And if you shake hands with Fred, it just it will creep you out a little bit.
That's why you don't shake hands, you hug, man.
You hug it out. Yeah.
Okay, Mike, I've shook your hand a million times. Could you feel it?
No.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, Rob.
Yeah. but we don't do the traditional
that job. I guess it's
shake like this. We do the kind of the bro thing. But no, I've never felt it.
Listen,
Rob likes to stroke it, I think, is what it is.
Yeah. I like to get in there. Oh, that's gross. Don't do that.
So it's a
you oil that thing up at night, Fred.
Hey man, he's got an advantage from he's got a little strange action.
No, because he's lived with it his whole life. It's not strange to him.
Well, I can switch hands.
If he did you with it,
if he did you with
it. Full disclosure, I'm left-handed. So
you're left-handed?
When it comes to that, yeah.
Oh. I was like, you're not left-handed. Yeah, no shit.
Oh my gosh, where are we going?
So he lasts longer with the left hand.
Listen, I'm gonna go way away from guy code.
Oh shit!
I have a topic, and
here we go.
To be way out of guy code. So guy code is.
You read it in Playgirl.
Yeah. Well, listen. Usually guys don't ask advice about like relationships with other guys, right? That's just not our thing. I think that's a chick thing, right?
We don't do that thing.
We don't do that, right?
Nope.
I mean, when guys get together, when we're in our guy groups or watching ball games, we don't sit there and say, so how's your relationship? Oh, has Tammy done this? Maybe I do that a little more than any other guy, but I mean, we just don't do it. These women get together and they talk for 2 hours. It's about their relationships and then what they're actually gathering for.
Well, it's more substance, right? Guys, our whole goal in life is just to rip on each other when we're in the same room with one another. But women are more substance than we are, for sure.
And really, for guys, that's how we know we're really good friends, right?
Right.
Because if you're in a guy group and nobody's ripping on each other, it's like a bunch of guys who've been brought together by one person. Nobody knows.
It's awkward. Yeah.
It's awkward, right?
Well, it's not like our group of guys that get together and we read scripture, so we don't have to worry. We're not worried about that part.
Not yet, but you guys are trying.
I don't know what you're
indoctrinate me.
Scripture is a euphemism for, but okay. I mean, me and my buddies just have a book club party, but that was with strippers and, it
Well,
was just a
and I'm
bad
sorry,
Oh.
you don't think women do that?
I
hell yeah, they do.
thought it was Playgirl magazine that you guys flipped through.
Oh,
Ew,
well.
God.
Did I get caught with a Playgirl at some time? Why does that always come up with me, Playgirl? I don't know.
Yeah, it was in your room and the pages were stuck together.
Oh, Fred's on a roll tonight.
Hey,
Man.
listen, I can enjoy the man form, right? I mean, I'm comfortable in my sexuality. I'm comfortable with that.
You can enjoy the man form.
No, I can't enjoy, but I can admit when another man is good looking.
Okay, that's different than looking at his Johnson. I mean, come on, Jesus Christ. I think Fred just threw up in his mouth a little bit. All right, so you have a topic.
Well, I mean, here's what I need. I need help, guys. I really do.
No shit.
Well, I guess I'm admitting I need help. That's
psychiatric help,
right?
or
that's a first.
Guys, well, that could be.
That's the first step to recovery, Rob. There you go.
Mike, that could be part of the resolution. I'm not saying, I mean, maybe it's psychiatric help. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm reaching out. I'm reaching out to my brothers on the show and the 4 idiots that listen to this program.
Yes.
This feed, right? Maybe they'll weigh in. Maybe
as Fred likes to call them, the Idiot Nation.
Idiot
That's
Nation,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
The Idiots or whatever.
Idiotics, whatever.
Idiot.
We haven't perfected the phrase.
Them. Yeah, we haven't coined them.
We haven't coined
themselves.
No, we haven't coined anything. Let's go.
Okay. Well, there's the only thing we've coined is Marine City football is the Alabama of the thumb. That's probably
that's you. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's your coin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
That's your coin.
Now I'm going to give you my scenario. I'm 54 years old. I'm single. I have an 8-year-old, and I can't find a significant other. What am I doing wrong? Am I too? And I go out on dates with women. Am I too picky? Fred will say I'm too picky, I believe. Fred tells me I'm too picky all the time. But what am I doing wrong? I'm really looking for answers, guys. I mean, what do you think?
Maybe Mickey Gillies said it the best. You're looking for love in all the wrong places. I don't know.
Or was that buckwheat that said Wookin'
Panub? Yeah, Wookin' Panub.
Yeah, Wookin' Panub.
Yeah. Aunts, ties, feet times.
Oh my God. Okay. See, this is what I get. I reach out for serious help.
Okay, Rob.
This is what comes down the pipe.
Okay, Rob. Here's
you expect us to be serious?
Friends.
Rob.
That could be too.
Yep.
Mike's like, I'm for you getting new friends.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Rob, to me, you're probably in that same boat like Eddie Murphy was in Boomerang. You go right down the checklist, and if one of those boxes aren't checked, you just kind of check out from them.
Some girl recently told me I'm like Jerry Seinfeld. I look for some man hands, right? Or something that
you got man hands.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe
Rob,
I think the women are just as picky though.
Oh, trust me. First of all, number one, I think there's a lot of women that you're seeing that are anywhere between 35 and 55. Anywhere in there, what you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of people who they might have a lot of baggage. They might have kids.
Women hate that term.
I know
baggage. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I agree. I don't like it being said about men either. I think it's rude. I think there's, I think women who have been burned or have gone through a situation like we have, Rob, where they become a little bit more guarded, and I think their expectations of men are a little lofty. And the thing is you have to understand.
Saying I'm not meeting up to those standards.
No.
He's saying it's the same. I think he's saying it's reciprocal. Both men and women do it.
Because the thing is, I know you're the type that you're looking for that 5'3", person, and of course, and if they're 5'6", you're like, yeah. It's like the thing is there's a lot of women out there that, could meet a lot of your criteria. They might have something that is not something that you're used to. And of course, everybody, our age fears change anyway. But the thing is in your case, maybe you should, when you go to church, see if they have, a singles night where you meet somebody there's at church.
I tried that when I was back in Michigan, and we went to, so Fred and I, a part of our church, they had a singles night. And
well, yeah, they're all 90.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So Fred says, I say to my uncle, I said, yeah, I'm enjoying the singles group at St. Mary's, and I go. And the next time I see my aunt was always curious. My aunt's always trying to set me up. And she goes, how did the singles group go? I go, you know what? I'm the only man there. And she's like, wow, that's amazing. I go, I'm the only person there under 80, but I'm the only man there.
All right.
So you're saying like the 80-year-old is out of the question? I mean,
well, listen, I'm telling you, she'd have
well, hey,
one spectacular.
Have you ever tried
I'm
to pull?
I'm not saying it's out of the realm. I'm just saying.
Have you ever tried to pull a grilled cheese apart?
Oh, come on. Gross. Oof.
So I think on a serious,
he is on a roll, Mike. You're right. He is
on a serious note. There's been a couple girls that when you were up here, I thought that you it was a good fit for you, but the thing is I think
let's specify women. Okay, he wasn't dating girls when he was up
or when, I'm sorry. We're all in this.
Hey, you never know these days. Okay,
right,
we got to be specific.
Okay.
Well, my ex was born the year we graduated, so I mean, I knew that going into my next relationship had to be age appropriate.
And I mean,
Mike's like, well,
I don't know. I mean,
why do that?
Yeah, why?
Well, Rob, first of all, any woman that gets to meet you, I said, first of all, you're a nice looking guy. You have a great job. You're wonderful with your son. You go out and you take people on hikes, take them to, like a winery. You take them out to a nice dinner. You have nice conversation. The thing is I wonder if some of the girls that you're seeing are like, oh my God, this guy is everything I wanted, but why is he single?
What's the catch?
What's the catch?
I can tell you, and you're not. I've never dated a woman that said he's everything I wanted.
But I'm saying that the things that you're doing. I mean, I know how you are, and the thing is I'm surprised that some of the people that that Kendra and I hooked you up with, I thought that was a good fit, but they had. And it was, I mean, in lockstep. I mean, everything was on set, but there's like a third party situation going on. They have an interest that that you're not interested in.
Fred's talking about a very beautiful, very successful in her own right lady in St. Clair that they set me up with, and I don't know what happened. Really, we just kind of stopped talking. And that happens a couple times with me. Like I lose interest, they lose interest, and we just stop talking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that sometimes, and a lot of times, that you find this sound a little corny, but you find people when you're not looking. Sometimes you're looking too hard.
Yeah. And
you're trying too hard. If you just kind of back off, and if you're not looking, sometimes it happens. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying kind of slow the roll. Yeah.
Now, and another thing, like, if you're trying, the phrase trying too hard, it's true. It's true in anything with, trying to find somebody, trying to find a job, trying to whatever. You're trying too hard. Like, just be yourself and relax. And I think sometimes when you're not looking is when you find someone, when you're not looking.
It's a good point.
I'll use Nancy and Kendra as an example. I had just got out of a crappy relationship and was going to meet some people up at Rochelle's and literally bumped into Nancy. And when I was going through the divorce and everything, and I was, looking for work and I was stuff like that, I just happened to run into Kendra. And, it wasn't like I was looking. It just, it just kind of happened. But the thing is Rob, for someone like you, someone out there is going to realize that you're gonna run into them. You're gonna have a conversation with them, and next thing you know, they're gonna realize that, like, where's this guy been? And you're gonna say, oh my God, I didn't even try. And look, she's everything that I was kind of looking for. And it's hard, and I know it's hard for you because, first of all, I know that one of the reasons why we started this podcast is because you were moving to Florida, and we didn't want you to be lonely, and we wanted to stay in touch with you, and it's a great opportunity to stay in touch. And I think the show has been very good for not just us, but for other people, and we know that because people have come up and told us that. The thing is we didn't know this show was going to be popular with people. We just thought we were just going to do it between the three of us. We're not trying hard to do anything.
Right.
Same concept with what you're doing there. The problem is like, it would be nice for you to have a wingman down there.
Yeah. See, the friend group I used to have down here, which was really, there was a big group. They've all just dispersed and they're no longer hanging. Nobody hangs out as much. There's little pockets of them, but some of them live far away. And then, if you are listening to this, you're our age and you're married or maybe going to go through a divorce, or it's hard when you're over 50, not just dating, but meeting friends. I mean, where do you go? I mean, I don't know where to go sometimes to meet people just in general. I work, I travel for work, and I have fun, and then I'm lonely.
That's weird because and by the way,
you're the most outspoken. I mean, outspoken in you're talkative, and you're always starting conversations every time we go out with somebody. I mean, that's shocking for me to even hear you say that.
Yeah, it is for me too. I mean, and just by the way, when I met Tammy, I wasn't looking for anybody, so that's kind of why I mentioned it. So you got 3 examples between the two of us, so I think there's some truth to that. But I think I'm actually shocked to hear you say that too. I know it's difficult, but at our age, you would think we know we've made a lot of mistakes, we've learned a lot, we know what we want. At this point in life, we should just be able to fuck it, this is I'm gonna go for it, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you're pretty fearless. I know that when it comes to like talking to people and stuff, you're pretty fearless. I've seen it in action.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I've always been that way. That hasn't changed. What has changed is, I think, when you're a young person, I'll just give it from the man's perspective because we're all men. When you're a young guy, you go out and there's a plethora of opportunities out there for you, because when you're in your 20s, half the people you meet are single.
Yeah, nobody's married. Yeah.
Right now, you go out there, there's couples and there's people with different relationships, and there's so many other criteria. And I'm a person, when I go out in public. Now, listen, you guys see me when I'm with you guys, and I'm that way, right? When I'm with you guys, I'm feeling good. I have my buddies. I am fearless. I go talk to anybody, women, men, it doesn't matter. I just go up and I socialize. I do get in these little periods, like when I'm by myself, though. Like if you saw me in the airport, if you saw me, traveling for work in a restaurant or some other place, I'm a little more just reserved to myself.
I get it. Yeah, I'm the
not
same
like
way.
I am when I'm with you guys. Like when I'm with you guys, I feel good. We're out, we're socializing, we just bounce around.
Well, there's 2 good things, Rob. One, at least you're not a man whore, and you're just going through a bunch of women and not even giving them an opportunity to see if they're worth it. That's one. Number 2 is, when you are alone, and you're alone a while, and trust me, I was for a period of time when once I moved out of the house,
Yeah.
and you're there by yourself. I mean that that little depression and that insecurity and self-doubt always comes into play.
Yeah.
The thing is you have to surround yourself or stay in contact with the people that are going to I'm not saying lay it on thick and make you look like you're the next Brad Pitt or anything like that. But the thing is
Right.
just well, no, whatever. But the fact is you have Tim, you have Kevin, you have Mike, you have myself. All that can sit here and tell you all the good attributes, all the good characteristics, everything that you have to offer. And as long as you believe what we tell you, and usually we come from the heart, that should give you enough confidence to just to take a deep breath and just go jump in the deep end somewhere. Go find some places. Like going to a bar, all you're going to do is find some drunk broad.
That's not
Okay?
gonna do it, right?
No, it's not going to do it. I mean, going to the Moose, or going doing some church things. Maybe if you go to a church and you see, who knows, maybe you find a mom that's sitting there with maybe 2 or 3 kids, and but she's by herself and she's really nice looking and you're intrigued by her. you know I know the kids are the extra, it's like add water and instant family. I get that. But the thing is it's something you could
Add
maybe
water, sir.
okay, think about this. How my dad and Sue met. Okay, they already knew each other. What happened was they had something in common. They lost somebody tragically. But the thing is in your case, you might walk over to that woman and you might make her day. And next thing you know, you guys have so much in common, and then you feed off of each other and you have long conversations just about, about, picking each other up and saying, hey, you're a good person, and da da da. Next thing you know, you're going to church with her. Next thing you know, you're in a relationship, and you didn't even want that. You weren't even thinking that was going to happen. I'm not just saying
Like
churches.
friends first, like maybe get a lady who's a friend and see where it goes.
You could do that, or if I know there's dating apps, but every dating app, every person lies on there. Everybody filters their picture.
I haven't had luck on the dating.
No, Match.com, and all those Plenty of Fish and all that stuff. All that is, it's you might as well just say they're a porn site just to pick up people. You end up becoming a Band-Aid for somebody. Okay, it's that 2-second. Okay, boom, boom. Grab your clothes, get in your car, and run off and go. Oh God, I'm never gonna answer that girl back.
You know what I think about the dating apps? I've heard women say it, and I feel like I've been culpatory about this too. I'm a little guilty. Is when you're on the dating app, there's so less commitment when you're interacting with someone. It's so easy to swipe to the next opportunity that you don't really spend the time with the one that you've had a connection with. You kind of move on. I don't know.
Yeah. Plus, not to mention the fact that all the dating sites that are out there, you barely read their profile. You're looking and see what they look like.
Okay. Well, for men, we're visual, yeah, for sure.
And I get that. But the thing is if that's what you're basing something off of immediately, okay, fine. If the person's nice, read the profile, and then if you're intrigued, ask some questions. If they ask the questions and you like their answer, then ask them out.
Plus, Mike, this has happened to me a couple times on the dating apps. Like, okay, you may see someone that physically is attractive to you, and so you start conversing with them, and you might IM back and forth for a little bit, and then you exchange numbers. You can actually have like many calls, phone calls, where you're talking late at night. You feel this is the person. But then when you go to meet, the one thing you're missing out of all that in the dating app world is the actual chemistry. You may think they're attractive. You might have good conversation with them, but when you meet them, the chemistry is not there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get it. So are you saying that, the dating app, that aspect is a waste of time? Or
I feel so. I feel that way.
But I mean, it's
not right for everybody.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
there
not
are
right for
people
everybody.
that met their significant other on that.
Sure. I know there's probably plenty.
Yeah.
And I think that, there are some people, well, if you're a person of integrity and you're an honest person, you're going to be an honest person on a dating app or a website or whatever. So I don't think that everybody is dishonest. There's probably a lot of people that are, just because they're, in some cases, I think maybe they're desperate, like
that's the word I was going to use, was desperate.
They're desperate, and they make up, they put filters on their photos, and they, work on their bio and, some of their interests, because they're tailoring it towards what they think people want to hear, or what they think men are attracted to, or whatever. And to me, the most attractive thing in a person, just if I want to be friends with somebody, or romantically involved with somebody, is for them to be themselves. I think that's what most people want, is just for you. To me, there's nothing more attractive than someone that's comfortable in who they are.
I agree. Like someone's confidence, really, they could be someone I wouldn't normally be physically attractive, but if they're super confident in who they are, that is attractive.
And also, it works for both men and women. Play a little hard to get, like, don't seem desperate, seem like kind of, oh yeah, nice to meet you, and kind of walk away, and they're like,
I feel afraid Mike's trying to tell me I'm too desperate.
No, I'm
not at all.
I think the theme is maybe you're trying too hard. I don't. But what the fuck do I know? I've been married for 29 years. I don't have to deal with this shit.
Well, the other thing too is, Rob, is I think there's. I mean, since you came back, or you said you were moving back, I think there was at least 3 people that you were truly interested in. They flaked out on you completely. And
that's part
and
of
of course,
too.
and I know that dings the ego. It would ding anybody's ego. Okay.
Yeah.
And now you become a little gun shy when you start asking somebody out. And then you're like, okay, well then I'm going to go back to the way I used to be. I'm going to start dating 39-year-olds. And then you start dating a 39-year-old, and they start talking about stuff that you have no clue what they're talking about, because, obviously they're much younger than you. And of course, and that puts also the added pressure on, which obviously it's not going to be a problem with you, is the fact that some of these girls are younger, and they still want to have kids. And then you can't do that. And then they're like, well, I still want to have kids. Well, it's so hard for people our age. I totally get that.
Well, I'll tell you one of my little, I might have shared this with you, Fred. I don't know if I shared it with Mike. There was a girl I met when I lived in Michigan, from St. Clair. She was owned her own business, construction company. She had a daughter, it went to the University of Toronto, play basketball, and a son that was older that lived out of the state. So, but we met at Freighters one night, and I thought she was really beautiful. I thought she had her act together, and we had a nice time at dinner. And then afterwards, she just told me, she goes, listen, I don't want to get involved with a man that has an 8-year-old. And that did ding. Like, you're right, Fred. I mean, you get dinged on when someone rejects you for something, like maybe you're not what they're looking for.
Well, first of all, it's not your fault that you have an 8-year-old. Well, it is.
Well, it's not a fault.
It is. But someone's going to,
biologically speaking,
it's half of your fault. But what I'm saying is if a person is going to be that shallow, you have 2 adults. What's a diff?
Well, listen, I didn't feel that about her. I mean, I wasn't angry. Like, she said, oh, you have an 8-year-old, I don't want to see you. I mean, because I get that. I understand that. I mean, I could actually understand her feelings about that, but it did rock me a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, she's being honest though. At least she
Oh, yeah,
told
she
you
was
up
honest.
Yeah,
front.
well, that's
I mean,
fine, yeah.
that's a bonus that you didn't waste too much time and then
Yeah,
figure that
it
out
was true.
later.
Yeah.
And I think plenty of men would say that about women. Like, I don't want someone that has an 8-year-old son or daughter. You know, I think it goes both ways. So, I mean,
I kind of feel that way, and I have an 8-year-old.
right.
You know, and you got to struggle with that. Like, if I meet someone, they have someone, I have to like be open and accepting. But in my natural instinct is I don't want to meet someone with an 8-year-old, you know, and
Yeah.
but you know, it's reality. I mean, it is reality.
There's nothing you can change about it.
Nope.
You're not, the thing is that 8-year-old has made you a better man than you were before he was born. So if people can't understand that, then they fuck them.
Yeah, I wanted to say to her, "Oh, you wouldn't like me before I had the 8-year-old. Trust me."
Oh, yeah.
He has really tempered me down.
Yeah, wait till they get a load of me.
He's made me mature. He's tempered me down. Believe me, you wouldn't like pre-gauge Rob at all.
Pre-gauge Rob. PGR.
PGR.
Right. You wouldn't like PGR.
And there's women that, and I've also run into a lot of women that are close to my age that have children that are younger, which wasn't socially the norm back 25 years ago, but women have had children later in life too. So I meet a lot of women in their mid to late 40s that have.
Right. And again, that's another thing too that you don't think about is, these people get on these dating apps. They don't tell that you have kids, and they're afraid to tell you how old they are because they're afraid that you're going to get scared away.
Yeah.
And that's how some people are. They've been rejected. They've been rejected. You've been rejected. But the thing is it's like somebody, like for me, like when I was looking for work, it's like, I know I have a degree, and people aren't going to give me an opportunity to interview because they're afraid they have to pay me money. All I want to do is work, but you won't know that unless you actually, let me come in and talk to you, or just like a woman letting her guard down and letting you come in and vice versa.
Preconceived notions, right?
Right.
Yeah.
People have when you assume, again, the old adage, when you assume, it makes an ass out of you and me.
Yeah.
Okay. In your case, it is.
Well, he makes an ass out of himself. So
yeah, well, we know that, but it's okay.
I do think another thing you have going against you is you don't have a lot of friends down there, because that helps.
I don't. Yeah.
That's usually that's how a lot of people meet their significant others, is through friends. So
it's true. You're absolutely right, Mike.
So the cards are stacked against you, my man.
The story of my life, Mike. The story of my life.
As Kevin Bond says, my life has no meaning. Rob, you'll be fine, and you will find somebody. When you least expect it. I mean, like I said, what happened, how I met Nancy was I did not want to meet anybody. I just got out of it was the girl I was absolutely and majorly in love with dumped me on Christmas Eve.
Oof.
And
on Christmas Eve.
Yep. And I had a ring. I was going to ask her. I had a ring, and I was going to ask her to marry me. And
that's brutal.
And to this day, that person does not know that ever happened.
Wow.
So I mean, talk about.
They watch the show.
They trust me, they don't.
Yeah,
but the thing is I didn't know that, and then going through it, I was going through after Nancy. I mean, I'm as much as I'm a pain in the ass, and so is she. Kendra has been nothing but a godsend. I might not be here if she wouldn't have, came around.
Well, you should tell her that, Fred.
I was just gonna say you sound like a Hallmark card. You should tell her that, Fred.
She already knows.
Well,
don't assume. Don't assume.
No, She already knows because
Proceed.
I've already
Preconceived
I've
notion.
told her. I've already
Preconceived
told her
notion.
100 times about it. So
Well, tell
she
her
knows.
again tonight.
I will. Just for you, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Well, you guys don't really. I guess I'm trying to say is to you guys is it. I'm not trying to preach, but feel lucky that you have someone to share your life with. That's when you don't, that's a huge thing. And Fred could attest that, you know, from my side of the family, Fred and I are cousins, but from my side of the family, I don't have a lot of family. I really don't. So I don't have family to lean on. So
the thing is you were gone so long that
oh yeah,
being reintroduced. I mean, if you had been there, you'd had Nancy and Billy, you would have had the singer girls, you'd have Leslie, you'd have obviously you have me, you have Mike, you have Kevin, you got Connor, you got Evan, you got Brooke, you got you got you got David and Ruth, you got the McElroys. I mean, they're so when you say that you don't have anybody to lean on, the thing is
no, I should say
so
like
the
that.
blinders. You have those people.
I do.
You do, and the thing is you know what you can bring to a relationship, and you know what you can bring to the table, and it's significant. Dude, come on.
Well, listen,
dude, you make awesome money. You can. I mean, well, no, listen, but the thing, hey,
here's the thing.
You're not shallow. You're not shallow, and you're not. I mean, you like to do a lot of things. I mean, you like to have wines. Women love wine. You know, you like going out to the beach. Girls like going out to the beach. I mean, there's all these in doing these excursions. The things that you did when you were here, you did stuff by yourself. You could have had people go with you.
But what I think what's holding me back is, and you look at my whole love life, my whole life, I have like a fear of commitment, because my longest relationship is like 7 years, and I have a bunch of 4-year, 2-year, 3 years, but I think I have a fear of commitment thing.
Could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say is you need me to come down for a month to serve as your wingman, and then Fred to come on the next month.
Yeah.
And then me the next month until we find you someone.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Of course.
What are you from? Zamunda?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, the last girl that I was I was trying to woo, she told me Mike was a horrible wingman.
Well, because I was working and you had the day off and you went back there. I mean, come on.
Should we talk about that little?
First of all,
you just want to mention that I had a fucking apple cider slushy drink. That's what you want.
So this is a good story. Like, I mean, I think it's pretty funny, and it kind of ties into what's been going on in my life. So Mike and I go to this place. I'm not going to say the name of the place, but it's a relatively new place on the water. And it's St. Clair County. That's still St. Clair County.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
It is.
It's on the border, but yes.
Yeah, and we walk in. We went and had. Mike said, "I want you to try this perch place because he knows I love perch." And we went to this place. And Mike,
we will plug that place, Off the Hook. That's the best perch in the area.
It was awesome. And then Mike said, "Let's go over this."
So you're saying that the perch was off the hook?
Well, then Mike and I said, "Well, you know, we had the day off. It was Friday. I was back there, and we were going to have the wedding the next day." So Mike and I said, "Well, let's stop at this place and have a cocktail." So we walk in, and it's a Friday afternoon, and there's not much going on there, but there's a few things. Well, the bartender behind the bar, who I didn't really like. When I walked in, I didn't say, "Wow, she's something." I knew she was cute, but we sat there and she was giving Mike and I a lot of shit, Fred. You know what I like? She was like teasing us a little
banter.
So frolicking really banter, yes.
Yeah, I got my juices flowing and I really started to like
literally.
Yeah. And Mike, I'll let Mike explain the rest. I put on, was it a full court press, Mike?
Oh yeah, it was. it was like
from what I heard, the only thing he didn't say is that, yeah, can I borrow your cell phone? I got to call heaven because one of God's angels fell.
Let me write that down.
Yeah.
He started out with, can I ask you something? She said yes, as long as it's not something I've heard before. So that's how it kicked off.
I don't remember what I said to it.
All right, go on about your way, barmaid.
I don't remember either, but I do remember you teasing me about getting the apple cider slushy thing, which was amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Amaze balls.
It was good. So yeah, Rob tried everything, full court press. He tried, everything.
And you made team slider.
Well, that's how it happened. I brought her, she came back over and said, can I get you guys anything else? I said, listen, I don't normally do this, but, I would like to see you again sometime. And she goes, yeah, I work Tuesdays and through Thursdays or something like that. And I said, well, no, I was actually talking, maybe something outside of work. She said, oh yeah. She goes, that's truly a possibility. She goes, I like to do all kinds of stuff. Me and my boyfriend do this and do that. I look at Mike and he's
like, crash and burn. Yeah. Hey, but it's good practice. It was good practice. You took. She
said, you know what? You could start out by, if I ever see you again, because she knew I lived in Florida. So 3 days later, I called, found out she was working, and I happened to be in the area, and I stopped in again. I said, you saw me again. She wasn't impressed.
She wasn't impressed.
No.
And I was a horrible wingman because I was working.
That's what she said. She says to me, Fred, she goes, where's your wingman? I said, he's working. She goes, he is a horrible wingman.
It's true. I am.
Say it loud.
But she wasn't like gorgeous knockout beauty.
Oh, thanks, Kendra. Thanks for bringing me some hot dogs.
Oh, God.
Yeah, one with ketchup and mustard and relish. Oh, that's thank
gross. You. Yep, that's about right. Bringing Freddie a hot dog up in his room. Jesus.
She buy you Happy Meals too?
Yeah, did she get you a napkin and a glass of pop or something? Oof.
This is what it's resort to, folks. Eating on the show.
Yeah, eating on the show. Fred has no qualms about eating on the show.
It was discussed on the way back from picking up Lauren that we were going to have hot dogs for dinner. I'm like, oh, you have to bring one during the show and make sure that it has mustard and ketchup.
Well, he's still going to eat it.
Mm-hmm. Damn right I am.
And let's face it, you weren't going to. There's not just a hot dog. We got to get to the plural phase. How many are there on that plate?
Yeah.
One.
Oh, he's going to have more, though. You're going to have more, though. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, I don't know.
I didn't
Rob.
Hey, Rob. I can tell you this, though, Rob, with 100% certainty. If you are going on a date with a woman and hot dogs are the food of choice, you don't put fucking ketchup on them. She will dump your ass immediately. Check, please. That's what she'll say.
We've talked about this. Ketchup is only acceptable on a hot dog when you're under the age of 12. That's the rule.
It is.
The rule.
Well, I'm young at heart.
You are. We know that. Well, let Fred. We've bust your balls enough on that one, and you're still doing it.
And he's still doing it.
The one thing that Mike and I totally agree. If we knew somebody that we thought that was worthy enough to go out with you, we would make sure that you would meet.
Well, them. Both of you guys have done. You've all both thought of me, and you guys have helped me out at time, right? I mean, you both have, yeah.
Well, that
I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole, but I am looking for advice from my buddies, man. I'm thinking maybe the buddies can give me a little advice. I'm going to back off a little bit. I'm going to take Mike's advice, not try so hard, and
maybe. And if you do get in a situation, play a little hard to get. Yeah. Don't lay it on too thick. Just I'm kind of interested, but I'm mysterious. You don't
Don't
know
be-
if I'm
don't be-
A
interested
little
or not.
aloof, be a little
Yeah.
aloof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be the playboy.
Yeah.
No.
No, don't
No.
be
Okay.
the schmoozer playboy. Just, oh, it's nice to meet you and blah blah blah. And they think, wow, I'm more interested in him than he was in me or something. I don't know. It's fucking reverse psychology, okay? Just try it and see what happens.
I'll try it. I'll report back if something does happen.
Excellent. And this is a perfect opportunity for the Idiot Nation to give Rob some advice. It can be funny advice.
Oh,
It can
God.
be totally tongue in cheek.
Oh, God.
Post
We
comments
never
on the
get, we
episode.
never
Come on,
get comments.
I think we're gonna this time.
All
I
right.
have faith in our Idiot Nation. We're gonna
All
get
right.
at least I'm calling it at least 4 people are gonna comment on
No.
this. Yep.
No.
Okay.
What's
Brock
your
Hanley,
one? 4?
come-
I'm saying
Brock Hanley, he needs some help.
Brock,
Scott
he needs some-
Walendowski,
Got
throw that out there.
Ruth.
We
haven't heard
Ruth,
from
Hey,
I want to hear what
hey,
Ruth says.
Mark Rice. Hey, come
we
on,
haven't
Mark.
heard from
I-
Lisa.
come on,
We
let's
haven't heard from Mish. We haven't heard, there's a lot of
Yep.
people
Yep.
that, we want to hear from you. We know you're listening.
Look,
We know
you
you're
just
listening.
named some people right there. Like, and I don't know the other situations of, well, Brock's been married a long time. Lisa Wayburn Sanger's been married a long time. Mish has been married a long time. I'd like to hear some opinions. I'm saying under 4. We'll have under 4 comments.
We'll have more than that. I can guarantee you.
And we're talking about from different
We'll
people.
have-
I'm
we'll
saying
have 5
different
Yeah, it can't be
people.
4
Hey, Rob.
from Lisa.
We'll have
Yeah.
5. We'll have 5 or 6.
Oh, he's going over 4.
Fred,
Well, he did that with the Lions victories too, and that's not working out so well for him. So
yeah.
we don't even want to.
Yeah.
Listen, I do want
Talk
to
about the Trojans boner play of the year.
Yeah, I don't. Hockenson.
No, just the fact that
he predicted what 8 wins.
It's the first time I think in my lifetime that I bought into the Kool-Aid of the Lions, and it was because of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
I mean, what I saw.
I bought into the Kool-Aid because of Dan Campbell,
Right.
and I don't think he's a bad guy or a bad coach. I just think that the Lions
he's not a good coach. He's probably a good motivator. He'd probably be a great coordinator, but not a head coach. Now, you mentioned Hockenson. Okay, the team is 1-6. He's on his option year. He's not going to sign back. He would not. He says he wants to be here with the Lions. He was going to want top tier. He's going to want top tier tight end money.
Yeah.
So they trade him, and they got a 2nd and a 3rd round pick for him.
I know, but what was
they traded him to Minnesota though?
I know. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Opponent. That's
101. That is the thing. That is the problem.
He is gonna rock the world. Mark my words. It's gonna be just like he didn't do that great as a Lion. Let's be honest. Was he decent? Yes, he was decent. Was he great? No. He's gonna. I don't think
they utilized him very well.
He's gonna be all world at fucking Minnesota. That's just the way it works.
He'd have 4 catches in the first quarter for 84 yards, and then they would never go back to him.
So I don't think they utilized him well.
No,
I think Minnesota will use him like they used Kyle Rudolph when they had him, and Kyle Rudolph was a stud.
Yeah.
And they throw to their tight ends quite a bit in Minnesota.
Yeah.
The other surprise too is, I thought they would trade a couple other people. I thought they were looking to maybe, trade somebody on the defensive side. At this point, they're probably trying to get some draft picks, but for right now, they're in a situation where I think Green Bay is in a world of hurt right now. There's a team that should have went out in the trade deadline and got somebody like Chase Claypool or a wide receiver from another team. They didn't do a damn thing, and they don't have any wide receivers. And the thing is everybody's saying, well, don't be surprised that the Lions give them a game on Sunday. And I'll say that there is that possibility that they could give them a game, because for some reason they always play Green Bay tough. But the thing is I am very bewildered by the fact that we were at one point in the top 5 offenses in the NFL, yet we only had 1 win. So again, what we've always talked about is they go out and they address the offense, but the thing is every draft for the next 2 to 3 years should be completely focused on the defense.
Here's my take on Green Bay. Green Bay should have traded Aaron Rodgers a year and a half ago.
I agree with that too.
Because they could have got so much. Then they leveraged their future to keep him. But now they really don't have money and cap to go out and get somebody. Not for what people are wanted.
Nope.
They're kind of strong held by him in the contract. And so what I thought they were going to go out and be sellers at the trade deadline. I mean, even though they gave Aaron all this money and they're tied into him, they should just say now by pull the string and say, we're going to be sellers and we're going to rebuild this program for the next quarterback.
If they would have traded Aaron Rodgers,
Jordan Love, but it'll be someone else.
Eric. So Rob, if they would, let's say they would have traded Aaron Rodgers and they would have got a second, third, and a fourth pick for him and not a first round pick. Can you imagine how everybody in Green Bay would have just went absolutely bonkers about that?
They would have. But listen, but from this point now until he was doing that antics a year and a half ago about off season, and I'm not going to sign with Packers till they give me this amount of money, be the highest paid quarterback, blah, 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 blah. Have they done anything since that time? No. I mean, they've absolutely done nothing. Nothing. I mean, it would have behooved them. I know it's hindsight, but we were saying it, Fred, trade him and get all this capital for him.
Yep. And, especially after they drafted Jordan Love and he acted like Karen Rodgers instead of Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that was the problem when they drafted him.
And the thing is I know at that point you're like, hey, you know what? We let Brett Favre walk away. We can let you too. We're going to trade you here. Well, I would have traded him to the worst team in the league, get as many draft picks as possible.
I wouldn't trade him to the Lions.
Well, talking about the worst team like in the AFC or something like that. Yeah.
But I would let's be honest, at Lions fans, we would love to have had the problems that the Packers have had. I mean, because up until this year, they've been fucking winning. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and why have they done that? Because they had made, when you look back at that organization, when we were in high school, they were one of the worst teams in NFL.
Oh God, they were putrid.
Time. They had one guy, Wolf, who was their GM, that saw something in a quarterback out of Atlanta that nobody else did. He brought him in and they built with Holmgren. Talk about these coaches that are just so good with quarterbacks. Holmgren and all the guys that came from Holmgren, like Andy Reid and Pete Carroll, they have that same, they know how to design an offense around a quarterback.
Tell me how Seattle's winning with Geno Smith. Geno Smith right now, he's already, he will be in the conversation for the MVP. He won't win it because Josh Allen's going to win the MVP. But the thing is, he'll be in the conversation. Yeah. Nobody thought that. Nobody knew that at the beginning. See, they would have said, my God, Drew Lock couldn't win the job and Geno Smith's going to be the quarterback. Oh, Seattle's going to be putrid. They're winning the fucking division. They're winning the division.
Yeah.
And guess what? And they're the Cones.
So let me ask you this.
But not to mention the fact that look at the people that they drafted this year. A majority of them are starting and performing well.
Yeah.
Where's all the Lions picks? They got 2 guys that are hurt. I mean, I would have not taken James Wilson or Williams. I would have taken Jordan Davis and build up that defense. But you know what? At that point, you're thinking, well, hey, maybe that is the steal of the draft. But again, they keep drafting injured people. The Pascal guy from Kentucky, this guy, Javid Best. I mean, you just go right down the line. These people that have significant injuries at some point, and it always comes back to bite them in the ass. It's like,
so isn't the GM and the coach, this is their first gig as head coach and GM, correct?
Four
No, well, Holmes was at
He was in
at
the
Los
Rams.
Angeles.
Well, he wasn't.
But he was
He
an
wasn't a
assistant to
GM
the
full
GM.
right. He was associate GM.
Okay, so that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like, so this coming to the Lions is Dan Campbell's first time as head coach.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Other than the interim time when he was down in Miami.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, he's
but
kind
not.
of
He wasn't
forced
hired
into
as
that,
a-
right?
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. So that, I mean, so this is second coach in a row. It's their first head coaching job.
Yeah.
Lions can't make that fucking mistake again. They
The
have to
problem
get
is,
a
Mike,
proven head coach.
They can't get a proven head coach that want to come, even if they paid the money. Everybody turns them down. Fred, who turned them down? How many guys that were in talks that actually said no? There was like 4 before they hired Campbell.
And I
can't remember their names.
Yeah,
but I know you do.
But I will tell you right now, I have one name that might take the opportunity to come here, and that's Sean Payton.
Why would he come though?
Why not?
Well, why? But why? I mean,
isn't he a commentator? He's making money doing that.
No, he's doing. I mean, he's just doing it this year. But you think he's not going to be well sought after? Problem is the thing is it's not. I know it's a pipe dream anyway because of the fact that you got that fucking the Fords. Just there's got to be some way where the NFL, or the owners, or even the fans of the Detroit Lions can start a petition about making Ford sell that team. I mean, they are fucking horrible. They're the one true constant thing that is not changed. I mean, you can change all the coaches, you can change the players, you can change, everybody, but you haven't changed the owner. And they're too fucking loyal.
You know why
they're not like Mike Ilitch and people like that where they go out and
the NFL.
Huh?
All the other owners of the NFL love the Lions because they pose no threat. They're a successful franchise that pay all their bills. They sell their tickets, their season tickets out, and they don't disrupt anything to the other owners.
And that's the sad part because I'll say this. I feel sorry for the diehard Detroit Lions fans that go down there every Sunday and have their hearts broken. I mean, I was a Lions fan at a very young age, and after and my dad couldn't handle me getting all upset when they lose, and finally he told me, he goes, "You're going to start liking my team," and it was the Dallas Cowboys. And I mean, and I was used to winning.
You to be a Cowboy.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't force me. He just said, "Hey, let me show you my team, and I'll tell you why." It's like no different how we became Michigan fans, and and deep down, Rob is a Michigan fan. He can say he's a Notre Dame fan, but deep down, if he broke his leg, maize and blue would pour out of his leg.
No.
So you don't give me
listen. There is a soft spot in my heart for Michigan because I did used to bleed maize and blue as a kid. I wore Michigan shit every day. Yep. My room was plastered Michigan. Yeah. Who was my favorite Michigan player of all time, Fred?
Anthony Carter.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about, speaking of Michigan.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about the first rankings that came out. And when I say rankings, I literally mean ranking. They were ranked.
Yep. Well, score touchdowns and don't kick field goals. You're sitting at the number 4 spot.
So, Mike, that's one side, right? That's that's definitely one side of a populist poll.
Well,
however, but in the games he's talking about, they still beat the shit out of the other teams. That I don't agree with that. So they beat the Spartans 29-7. So you're saying if they beat them 49-7, they would be number 4?
Not necessarily, because they did beat somebody like 49-7, a ranked
41-17,
and they got jumped, and then they got jumped, which never would have happened before in the poll. But there's a southern bias.
Clemson, Tennessee, Georgia, and Ohio State being ranked honestly, any one of the three could be 1, 2, or 3.
Yes.
I think they're deserving.
Yes.
Clemson is not fucking deserving.
No,
They are media darlings, and they're not going to. They play Notre Dame this Saturday, right?
Yeah.
That's the last chance anybody has to beat them in the ACC.
It's true.
But they have also beat 5 ranked teams this year that were in the top
3 ranked teams.
Here's
5.
Name them.
I don't have
that are currently ranked. They've beaten 3.
Just
Wake Forest, North Carolina State, and who's the third one?
Syracuse.
And none of them is above. They're all above 20. So one's ranked 21st, 22nd, 23rd.
So I was watching ESPN, and Trev Albert said that Michigan put themselves in a bad spot by not beating Michigan State by more points, not putting touchdowns in the end zone instead of kicking field goals. He said they could have had 2 ways of getting into the playoffs. Now they're just down to 1, and they have to beat Ohio State. But the thing is how I'm like, why do you say that when Georgia has to play Tennessee? Clemson could lose to Notre Dame. TCU, who is right behind Michigan, could lose to
2 games. They got Texas and they got Texas Tech and they got Baylor left.
TCU won't go undefeated this year.
No, they won't.
No, we don't think so.
And the thing is the key is we this weekend really should want Tennessee
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame to win.
I'm the biggest Notre Dame fan this weekend.
So there's 3 wins that we want this week. I mean, and that's excluding the Michigan. We want Notre Dame to win.
Yeah.
We want LSU to win, and we want Tennessee to win.
But let me give you they play Notre Dame, and if Notre Dame does beat Clemson, remember that's not a conference opponent. So that loss, if they lost to Notre Dame, wouldn't go against them in the ACC. They still then could get.
Well, that's fine, but they just lost to Notre Dame.
Listen, that doesn't matter. One loss, right? One loss. They still play the ACC championship game and win. Michigan loses to Ohio State. TCU loses 2 games. Georgia, Tennessee. That still could put Clemson in, even with a loss to Notre Dame.
It's true.
I mean, there'd be a lot of things that have to happen, but remember, they still could get to that ACC.
Well, and if let's say Tennessee beats Georgia, but then let's say Georgia goes to the SEC championship and loses.
Right, and that'd be another wrinkle.
Now, and again, Tennessee can get beat too, because they have their flaws too. But the thing is every team has flaws. But the thing is what Michigan has brought this year, to me, is more than what they brought last year. I think they're a more well-rounded team. They can't help who they played, and not to mention the fact that the Big Ten is down this year.
You don't think their secondary is weaker than they were last year?
I don't think so.
I think they're stronger.
I do too.
They would be probably the best defensive backfield they ever had if Daxton Hill would have stayed.
But listen.
But right now, I think they're as strong, if not stronger.
Here's what Michigan State exploited. If you have a big receiving core like Ohio State does, you're going to get big chunks of plays down
in the first half.
Well, no, Ohio State will be different than Michigan State.
Well, Michigan State did jack shit in the second half.
I know, but that's Michigan State.
Only
Ohio
one of those
State will probably be able.
One of those receivers at Ohio State are big. That Smith Ajimba, he's only 5'10" ish, maybe 6 foot. The slot receiver, he's only about 5'10" to 6 foot. They have the one big receiver, which is his dad was in the NFL.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Harrison Jr.
Yeah, he's
big.
He's 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", somewhere in there.
6'4".
Okay. So you have one receiver. So the thing is, if their defensive backfield can cover, they did a phenomenal job last year on all 3 of those guys. But I mean, they had Daxton Hill on Marvin Harrison. Okay, so the thing is all you do is
they gave enough pressure where they didn't
exactly, and they're gonna
pressure to the quarterback.
They have more sacks this year than they had at the same time last year.
I hate to bring this up though. the quality of opponents for Michigan have not been that stellar.
How is that different than Alabama or Clemson?
No, it's not,
or
but
anybody? Everybody's the same way.
When you say pressure, they have more this year than last year. And I'm playing devil's advocate because
but they played their non-conference schedule last year wasn't anything to write home to mom about either.
All right.
So I'm comparing apples to apples. Their non-conference schedule last year wasn't great. How is this year any worse? I don't think it was much worse.
Because they haven't played a one-ranked opponent except for Penn State.
Yeah, but they're going to. They're going to be playing. Ohio State played one ranked opponent.
Yeah, they're going to play. They're going to play Illinois and Ohio State.
But we're focusing on Michigan,
right?
So when you say, Mike, but they're better this year than last year.
No, I said they had more sacks at this time.
Okay, so
than they did last year. So look at the teams they played last year. Did they play ranked teams up until this point?
Let's look at them. Let's pull them up. I guarantee you the schedule last year was more difficult than this year.
Okay,
this year was. Listen, I'm a Michigan fan by heart. Fred said it, but you can't skirt the fact that they haven't played a tough schedule. And Fred and I
has Ohio State played a tough schedule?
No, he's saying.
But I'm not talking about Ohio State. I'm only talking about Michigan.
Okay.
You focus on Michigan. It doesn't
okay, so let's start. This is last year. Western Michigan first game.
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah.
Washington was putrid last year without what's his name, Penix.
Yeah.
Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
Those are the non-conference games.
Yeah.
Rutgers.
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin was not what they were this year, right?
Okay.
So
Nebraska.
They were ranked.
Nebraska.
Yeah, that's bad.
Notre Dame or Northwestern. So that's the first 7 games. How is that schedule any tougher than this year's? It's not. They played one ranked team, Wisconsin, during that time frame.
And now they have one ranked team, Penn State.
And they played Michigan State. They got beat by Michigan State. That was the next game after Northwestern. Then they played Indiana. So last year, if we're looking at final rankings, they played 3 ranked teams, which is what they're going to do this year. Michigan State was ranked number 8. Penn State was 23 and Ohio State was 2. So how is it different?
Well, apparently it's not. I thought it was, but apparently it's not. Okay, so you're saying they have better pressure on the quarterback this year because they have more sacks.
Yes.
And we know that they were a good offensive line last year, but they are a better offensive line this year.
That's what everybody's saying.
However, Mike, if you watch the Michigan State game, the one thing that offensive line did not do very well was pass protect. Run block, unbelievable. Pass protect, they weren't very good.
I would argue that's probably the same way last year because
maybe I don't know.
McNamara was under pressure all the time. The difference is so
was JJ McCarthy.
The difference is JJ McCarthy can get out of the pressure and Cade McNamara cannot. That's a huge difference.
We feel they're a better offensive line. They can run
a better. I think their defensive line's better. I'll say their interior line is better than their interior line from the year before, and I would say they're a wash on their defensive ends. I think
so. Let's assume, and I think all of us feel they will. However, I think it's going to be a tight game. They beat Illinois. It's going to be a good game. I think Illinois is going to come in hot and ready for that one, or actually they go to Illinois for that. And they're not a great team, but they're a team that likes to surprise people.
Well,
they get by.
Illinois is a home game.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Illinois,
and they only got one loss. I think.
Yeah, they only got one loss.
Yeah, let's look at their schedule though.
Okay, so as you do that, we'll play this out. So then Michigan goes undefeated when they go into the shoe.
Right.
Predictions on that game, Mike. I mean, knowing what you know from this year and maybe what you've watched from Ohio State, is Ohio State better this year than they were last year?
No, I think they're better.
What are some of the reasons why they're not?
Stroud's
better. Stroud's better. He's
I
better.
I think
their
their running
run
game was a
game
lot better
last year.
A lot
I
better.
and I
last
think
year.
and of course their receiving core has been dinged up because
Well, they lost a lot of receivers.
Yes.
Their receiving core was better. I mean, they had
and
three
dude,
guys that
and
went in the draft.
Yes.
they if Sean Clifford, which I told you guys who's a piece of shit, if he had any type of a game, Penn State beats them last week.
He threw 2 interceptions in the first quarter, and Ohio State was down at halftime.
I know.
And Ohio State was down at halftime. They're very beatable.
Well,
very beatable.
I think we've said that throughout the season that they're beatable. So I'm just going to recap here. We feel that Michigan is better than last year, and we feel that Ohio State is worse. Let's take the rankings, what they played.
I would say Ohio State's team last year is here, and I would say this year's team is like right there. I mean, they're very, very similar. I think they were better last year defensively and in running, and also running the football last year.
And throwing the football.
Yeah, and throwing CG Strouding.
No, but the receiving core was much better.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, they honestly right now
stats are better. I think.
Right now they shut down. If they can shut down Marvin Harrison, they'll win the game, because the only other one that they have is a bouquet or whatever. He dropped Smith, like 4 passes against the Penn.
Now, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Don't answer this, Fred, because I know you know this. Mike, what do you think Ohio State's game plan when they play Michigan is to do to beat Michigan? The number one thing.
Well, make JJ throw the ball.
Yeah, stop the run. Yeah, right? Stop the run on Michigan. It's like Michigan beating for 12 years straight Wisconsin, who was always a good team, but they figured out they were one-dimensional. You stop the run, you shut them down. I mean, it's going to be a game in the trenches, right? If whoever wins the trenches should win that game.
I say whoever wins the game is going to win by 10.
And I think the opposite is true of Michigan. They need to shut the pass down,
right?
And make Ohio State run it.
Contain Stroud,
right? And they have to make them run it. It's totally different with Ohio State. I think they shut down the passing game, and they got a good chance of winning. If they can't, they're going to lose. Mm-hmm. Honestly,
yeah.
So let's look at Illinois' schedule this year.
Oh yeah.
Wyoming first game.
Yeah.
Indiana second game.
It was a Virginia. Tough game for them. What was the score on that?
23-20. They lost.
That was a tough one.
Virginia third game. Chattanooga. Wisconsin, who's not very good this year.
No.
Iowa 9-6.
Yeah,
it was a fucking snore.
And Iowa's only got
probably one of the worst Iowa teams in Kurt France's
Minnesota started out kind of good. They're not doing so hot.
Yeah, but I think it was Minnesota's first loss.
It might have been. Yeah. And then Nebraska. That's who they've played.
Right. But not to
no ranked teams.
But not to dispel what has happened. They were a team that was decimated.
Oh, he's done an incredible job. No question.
So,
I don't think they're going to hang with Michigan, though.
Well, we didn't think Michigan State would hang with Michigan.
They didn't.
First
29-7.
Wait.
That's not a blowout.
Hey, first of all,
college football.
First of all, wait. Number one, you know this from history, Rob. That game, regardless of what your record,
it's a rivalry game.
It's a rivalry game, and it's always going to be close.
They scored 0 points in the second half.
Dude,
Zero
they had
points.
minus 3 yards the whole second half, Rob.
I know. I understand.
Okay, but the thing is, I know
they dominated them.
Hey, 29-7.
Second half, they dominated.
Yeah, 29-7 does not look like a blowout. 49-7 does look like a blowout.
Well, even 35-7 does, but 29-7, it's
what 35. You're saying 35-7 is a blowout, but 29-7's not. I'm talking 6 points.
That's my mental thing. It's like when you say 29-7, you're like
the word mental.
Things could have gone the other way. You never know. I mean, I don't watching the first half.
So if Notre Dame beats Clemson 29-7, is it a blowout?
It's an upset.
Is it a blowout?
It's an upset.
That's not what I'm asking you. Is it a
I'm
blowout?
saying
Yes
it's
or
not
no?
a blowout. It's an upset.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Since we're on the Michigan topic and we just have to talk about this, let's talk about the tunnel.
Let's not.
Let's talk about the tunnel.
Let's not talk about the tunnel.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I think we should. This is what I find interesting, and it's actually disturbing. They dedicate the tunnel to Lloyd Carr, and in 2 games after they did that, there's been fights in the fucking tunnel. They haven't had any for 90 some years, 600 games. They dedicated.
They
to
even
Lloyd
brought
Carr.
in extra security for this game, and it still happened.
What the hell's going on with the tunnel?
Hey, here's the problem. The problem is they need to escort that team off the field and make sure they're in the locker room, nobody's straggling out, and have the walled off, and then let the other team come through.
They need to do that. They need to do that for 3 games. They need to do that for 3 games. Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State. The rest of them, Hawaii, are they going to cause any problems in the tunnel? No. Connecticut? No. It's those 3 teams. That's where you need extra security.
And
Michigan
they had extra.
State,
they had
Ohio State.
Why did this happen then?
Why did it happen?
Because of the
frustration on both sides.
Well, there's frustration. I think
it's
the type of player that Michigan State has brought into their program. I think it's not a rivalry anymore. Now it's like it's a war. It's not even like, hey, back in the day when Michigan beat Michigan State, they shook hands and they walked off the field and they said, well, we'll get you next year. Now it's all these attitudes coming from the urban areas and stuff like that, and the trash talking with what they see in the NFL, what they see down in the SEC. They bring that shit here, and next thing you know, it's an all-out brawl. Now, mind you, it started when Devin Bush was in the middle of knowing when he was supposed to be off the field. He stayed on the field when they came out to do their warm-ups, and then there was a pushing match, and then he went out to the S and started digging his cleats into the S, and then it's just escalated from there. But the problem is everybody's blaming Jim Harbaugh that he's brought a more of a like a fighter's mentality. He's
Jim
not gonna.
Harbaugh?
Yeah, this is according this. Now, mind you, I'm not. This is not my.
You're listening to Valenti.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But the thing is I don't remember Jim Harbaugh walking off a field and hitting a fan in the crowd like Mel Tucker did.
Let me ask you this, Mike. Dan Antonio recreated that rivalry. He really did by making his team relevant again. And he had one of the biggest, what do you call it, where you could put up on the wall every week when the little brother, right?
Motivation pose.
The motivation pose, right? He made it a war, but his players let that war be played on the field to get the respect and the fight.
Right. I think the same is true with Ohio State and Michigan, bitter rivals, but you don't see, like, on the field, you might see some pushing and shoving. I've never heard of anything outside of that.
Off field, right.
I've never seen a kid from Ohio State or Penn State take their helmet off and swing it at somebody and hit them in the head with it. So
I think what happened was there was a lot of hype that, Mel Tucker was 2-0 against Jim Harbaugh, and the whole Sparty Nation was thinking that Tuck's coming and all this stuff, and they did a lot of hype up to that, and they got embarrassed. They were embarrassed, and that's how they lashed out. So did the Michigan guys probably say something in the tunnel? Yes, but words don't. You don't go to that. Nothing is an excuse. Nothing excuses that behavior.
Nope.
You can say all the words you want and call people a bitch or a punk or whatever. Yeah. Nobody deserves that. Yeah. No, that's not the way you react.
You have 8 guys that are suspended indefinitely
so far.
And now you have that video out of Mel Tucker swinging at a fan who touched him on the head as he was walking through the tunnel.
Yeah, but honest, and you can see the guy did it on purpose, and it said in the captions I saw it was a kid. No, it wasn't. It was an older guy, and you can see him like being an asshole and touching touching Tucker's head. That was bullshit. They were provoking him, honestly. And I'm not a Mel Tucker fan,
Mike,
but I know, but still, you're walking
they
off the
were all
field and
liquored
somebody
up before
touches
the
you on the
game.
head. Like, what would you do?
Someone
I'd do the
says,
same
I dare
thing.
you to touch Tucker's big dome.
That's exactly what happened. So they're saying, oh, he punched a kid. No, it wasn't. It was an older guy, and he was being an asshole, and he touched him on the head, and he swatted it away. I probably would have done the same fucking thing. Why are they doing that shit? Right. It would be like if I was walking off the field and somebody threw a fucking beer or a pop at me, I'd be fucking pissed.
You know what's going to happen? At that tunnel, they're going to put up these big glass structures so you can't get it. They're going to
wire or something. Yeah,
something. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be ruined because it's always a few bad apples that spoil the bunch.
Yeah, that's right. So, hey guys, before we close out, just as a reminder, tomorrow night we got Cardinal Mooney playing in the playoffs against Clarkson Collegiate. Lutheran Collegiate, I think it is, and then Marine City plays on Saturday against Flint Hammoney, who upset Armada. How funny is all 5 teams in the BWAC went 0-5. Shocking.
They all got knocked off.
They all got knocked off. Now the big thing is tomorrow night I'm actually announcing for the Cardinal Mooney game. Hey, I need a spotter. So if anybody's out there that is willing to come up in the
shameless plug.
Yeah. Anybody that can help me spot, please let me know.
So what are the criteria? They have to be able to see. And
they have to be able to, they have to have
you put a mirror under their nose, they have to fog up the mirror. Is that the
no
criteria?
They need a pair of binoculars, be able to see
bring their
the
own
numbers.
Binoculars?
And
they got to bring their own binoculars
and point to the number in the person's name who is that made the tackle. How hard?
Now, if someone's out there thinking you're going to just go do it to fuck Fred up and point at the wrong numbers, we really support.
We really support that.
Yeah. So
they have to bring their own binoculars. Seriously?
Well, it makes it easier for them. They don't have to if they can see well enough.
Don't even supply binoculars.
No. Every sponsor or every spotter has brought their own. So it's so. Hey, good luck to Cardinal Mooney tomorrow. Good luck to Marine City on Saturday. Next week we have a show, and we have Missy Fisher coming on from the Fish Company. That will be on. We'll be talking to her about obviously the restaurant, how things have been going, and just how it came to fruition that. They opened this up and it's become a juggernaut of a restaurant. And
guys want to tune into this one, right? Because she is a smoke show.
Wow.
Maybe
she will give you some advice when she's on the show.
I'm gonna ask her. I'm definitely asking her.
So, Mike, when I first met her, she brought up Megadeth. So when we bring her on, you have to play the Symphony of Destruction.
Okay.
Wow.
So when you introduce her, that music has to be. I know damn well she'll die laughing. I know she doesn't watch. I know she's not going to watch this, so it'll be a complete surprise.
She won't hear Rob calling her a smoke show.
I don't mind her. What? That's a thing. That's a smoke show. She knows she's a smoke show. I'm sure.
Yeah, she is. There's nothing there. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Matter of fact, that'll be the name of the show next week. Smoke show.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, the hubby's a good guy too. So yeah,
I'm sure he's a nice guy. He knows she's a smoke show.
Oh yeah, he's a lucky guy.
Yeah. You guys are keeping it up, huh?
All right. So hey guys, remember, give Rob some advice going into into this.
I'm counting on you for at least 4 people. Come on.
I want 5 or 6 people.
I don't ask for anything. I don't ask anything of the Idiot Nation, but please, 4 different people at least, so I can shove it in Rob's face that I was right. That's all I'm looking for.
Okay.
And I'll give everyone credit for it.
Come on, Mish. Come on, Lisa. Come on, Mark Rice. Come on, Scott Walendowski. Come on, Brock Hanley. let's bring,
Lesson 4.
this guy needs some emotional help.
Yeah, he does.
So, but hey, remember, go on YouTube and subscribe so you know when our show is going to be on. Give
Like,
us a thumbs up.
subscribe, hit the
Like,
notification icon.
Yep.
Oh, even
Throw
Mike's
some
getting
comments.
into this.
Not mention that we're also on. It'll be on Facebook. Michael download it on there, and look for a Facebook Live post tomorrow morning from me to remind you guys about the show. So,
And I
hey,
also post on Twitter and Instagram links to the show.
And you guys are really whoring this thing out.
We are. We're
Yep.
trying, man.
Yep.
We've got 38 views last week. We needed to get at least 39 this week.
Listen.
Right.
We always said if we got between 20 and 30, we'd be happy.
Don't we look happy?
We do. I'm
Hey
happy.
guys, I got 2 things. I got one thing right here. Hey,
2 things, 1 thing.
Eagles, Texans. We need to go. Just started.
Eagles.
Well, who cares?
Go
Who
Eagles.
cares?
Yep.
Who cares?
I know.
All right,
they're not
guys.
the Lions, right?
Bye,
Peace
guys.
out.
Peace out, boys.